Welcome, 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 everybody, to our first live stream of the year. I know I've been missing in action. That's why I put Where's Waldo? And actually, Where's Sirdragonx? Actually, before we start, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you to everybody. We have now 10,000. We hit 10,000 subscribers just today. I actually changed the background today, right before the live stream, because we hit 10,000 subscribers. A milestone that when I first started, I never even dreamed that I would even meet. So I want to thank everybody before we even start this live stream for all of your support. Today, I'm going to, excuse me if I need to cough or something. I might mute the microphone because I know it does. When I was drinking, it was making a little bit of a weird noise. But I want to thank everybody for your support. Our channel is all about helping everybody out, and we've built a wonderful and awesome community. We have over 12,000. We're going on 13,000 Facebook members. We have a very successful Facebook group, and all of the other things that we've done as well. I just want to thank everybody for your support. I set out with this project to try to help individuals to get the most accurate information possible moving to Mexico, because things change, and they always change here in Mexico. It used to be, when I first moved here, kind of things were always the same. You know, I lived here for the past 7 years and immigration's always been the same. Or I've lived here for the past 7 years and this is the way they do things here. But things have really rapidly, in the 5 years, 6 years I've been here, things are changing almost sometimes on a daily basis. So, you know, one of the things that I wanted to do with my channel is really reach out to everybody so that you could get the most accurate information. So thank you very much for all your support. And now I'm going to kind of get down to why I've been missing in action. Let everybody know where I've been, what I've been doing. Did I quit YouTube? Probably a lot of people were thinking, well, actually, I got a comment not too long ago. I hope you're okay. I'm okay. I'm alive and well. I'm actually in Monterrey right now. We were in San Miguel de Allende. Thank you very much for your patience. This year that I ended the year that I had to go to New Mexico to visit family. And when I was there, of course, we visited there at the end of December, probably that last live stream you saw before I was in San Miguel. We traveled back to Monterrey. Then we went and flew out to New Mexico. I have family in New Mexico, and we flew out to go see family. And unfortunately, I caught the COVID bug probably on the airplane coming back. So I've been I was a little bit under the weather come New Year's. I spent New Year's with COVID, my wife and I, in a hotel room in New Mexico. And then we came back. And as you can see, I'm still coughing from the leftovers of COVID. It's already the 25th and I still cough a little bit. But we've recovered. And also, I'm here in Monterrey because I have to do all of my yearly medical stuff. We have to, I have to do my last PET scan. Actually, it's going to be the last PET scan for a while. And hopefully everything comes out okay. And then I have a couple of other specialists that I have to see. My wife needs to see specialists too. So we've been kind of busy. The other thing too is, although we've kind of finished the house in Monterrey, we left a lot of things unfinished when we went to San Miguel. We still need things like blinds and shades and curtains. And so we've been really busy trying to organize everything before we head back to San Miguel. We're probably going to head back to San Miguel at the end of February or March. And then we have a trip plan. We're going to spend 2 months back in San Miguel. Then we're going to come back over here to Monterrey, and we're going to fly out to do a 1-week trip to Guatemala. And then later on in the year, we're going to do a trip to Merida. So that's what I've been up to. I'm sorry I've been off the radar. Actually, I haven't even been responding to comments. I've been so busy. And so I want to shout out to everybody that's helped, that's been patient with me. I have a lot of videos in the pipe. Actually, I started brainstorming what I need to catch up on, and I'm not sure if I'm going to catch up so quickly, but there's a lot of things going on here in Mexico. There's going to be a lot of changes this year. As most of you already know, I think everybody on YouTube already jumped. I did a video last year predicting that the financial solvency requirements were going to go up because of the minimum wage, and they did, actually. And I'm going to actually pull up some numbers here, thanks to Mexico Relocation Guide, one of the best sources that I know of for accurate information, up-to-date accurate information. So, and this is what I'm going to pull up is actually not from the guide. It's actually from her free stuff that she gives out online. Just to show the financial solvency requirements. I know most YouTubers have already jumped on it's gone up. But, basically, that's one thing that is going to be an issue this year. Regularization program, it's still going. I wasn't sure if it was going to go or not. It's still one thing that everybody has to understand about the regularization program is it could go away at any time. Right now, immigration every 6 months is reevaluating it. Every office has their discretion whether to keep it going, not to keep it going, what the requirements are. I'm going to let you in on a couple of things on the regularization program today. And one of the biggest things we're going to have is changes in presidencies. Not only is the United States going through an election, but also Mexico's going through an election right now. 99% chance that Mexico's going to have the first female president in the history of Mexico. Both front runners, regardless of who wins, both front runners are females. And one of the front runners, the one that's in front of everybody in the polls, is from the same party as the current president. So we may see, we may see some changes in the sense, not changes, we may not see some changes. We may see a continuation on getting stricter on immigration policies, stuff like that, modernization of immigration. Some of the policies that we keep seeing, we're going to probably see the minimum wage keep going up by 20% every year. If we maintain the same, if the same party stays in power, probably the same Secretary of Exterior Relations will stay in power, which we won't see the residency requirements going down, the financial solvency requirements going down too soon. So, but at the same time, we may have another female president who is from a coalition of both the PRI and the PAN party. That's in a close second, actually. And so the immigration policies, all of these policies might change overnight, depending. Also, there's a big dependence on, right now, President Biden, and I think it's just politics, trying to get votes, wants to shut down the Mexican border, U.S.-Mexico border. They're trying to come up with an immigration deal. Regardless of who gets elected, I don't get involved in politics, whether it's Trump or Biden. We're going to see a lot of changes in the value of the peso. That's one thing that we're going to need to keep a close eye on. The value of the peso is going to probably drastically be very unstable this year. And then depending on who gets in power on both sides, we may see the peso go back up to 20 to 1, and we may see it stabilize at 17 to 1, where we're stabilizing right now. We may see it even go down further. But there's going to be a lot of things happening this year. So I'm going to try to keep everybody up to date on what's happening. And that's my goal for this year moving forward. And I'm going to try to keep everybody up to date. Let me just go over first before we start anything else. I'm going to let more people get into the room. But I'm going to go over the financial solvency requirements. And then I'm going to go over regularization, what's going on with that. And because I think that's probably one of the things, if you want to move, if you want to move here, you need to find a way to get residency. So there's good news and there's bad news. I'm going to go over the bad news first. Unfortunately, there's really, and I'm going to try to do a lot of these things that I'm discussing in videos, short form videos, so that you kind of shorten to the point, so you don't have to go through a 1 hour live stream. If you, I encourage you to go through there, my live streams. And another thing, I am going to continue the surprise live streams, but I haven't done a surprise live stream because, of course, I have been under the weather. So the first thing I'm going to show you here, I'm going to pull up from Mexico Relocation Guide, is she keeps up with residency requirements in most areas. These are not all the consulates. The bad news is everything did go up by about 20%. So right now, if you are applying for temporary residency, you have to show a monthly income anywhere from, it's in the 4,000s. If you see, they're mostly in the 4,000s. McAllen, which has historically been low, is still 3,000 lower at 3,450. And as you can see, New Orleans, this is the good news, New Orleans is actually still kind of at last year's numbers, or actually lower than last year's numbers. New Orleans is the lowest right now. They also accept out-of-state. Some consulates only accept people that from their region, but New Orleans does accept out-of-state clients. So actually, the best kept secret is no longer McAllen. The best kept secret is New Orleans. And I have to give credit to Mexico Relocation Guide, because she's the one that found this. And actually, I'm on her website right now. She's got a really great guide. I don't get paid to promote her guide. I promoted her since she first started this guide, because I believe it's the best source of information, and where she gets her information and how she gets her information. And she also conducts herself with the utmost of integrity. And integrity is one of our most important things with this channel. But as you can see, everything's in the 4,000s. As of about 2 years ago, things were in the 2000s. Unfortunately, well, maybe the New Orleans, depending on your Social Security, you may qualify. Some people that have maxed out on Social Security will probably get a check of close to $3,000. But unfortunately, coming here on the average Social Security check of $1,800 to $2,000 is not feasible right now for financial solvency requirements. I'm just going to put this out here, and this is just a theory. I don't know. I don't have any insights, but immigration, the residency requirements, which I've done several videos, are based on a formula. For example, the monthly income has to be 300 times the daily minimum wage, or 500 times the daily minimum wage. And depending on the formula, because the minimum wage has been going up, SRE, that's why we are seeing numbers of 4,500, 5,000. It's going to get into the 5,000s next year if this keeps going. Now, in 2016, and I've told everybody, good afternoon, Henry. I haven't done shout outs, but thanks, guys. I see Cindy here, Kai here, Frederica, Rick, Henry Liston, Blaine. Welcome, guys. I didn't do my shout outs. You know what? I'm out of practice. So please excuse me. I'm out of practice. But one of the things that they did in 2016 is the government went to a different, they used to base everything, all their formulas on the minimum wage. But President Nieto, the last president, basically said in 2016, this is ridiculous because this does not really reflect our economic situation, the minimum wage. As far as, I'm not that the minimum wage wasn't high enough, but he was saying that when you calculate these fines, they were getting too high. And these fines are based on kind of the economic conditions. So there's a special office in the Mexican government made up of economists that come up with kind of they call it the UMA. It's kind of instead of basing things on the minimum wage, it's the UMA. And the UMA is a lot lower. It's like half of what the minimum wage is. These numbers would probably be half if they were using the UMA. The federal government mandated all agencies to start using the UMA in calculating. I've had this for the last 2 years, this hope, crossing my fingers that the UMA would eventually become standard with SRE, and we would see better numbers as far as the financial solvency requirements. Unfortunately, that hasn't been the case. SRE and immigration held out. Last year, actually 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, immigration, AMLO, the current president, found out that immigration was still using the minimum wage. So he said, you must go to the UMA formula. So if you walk into an immigration office right now and say, what's the minimum financial solvency requirements? They'll be half the numbers that I just showed you. But then you go to a consulate and then they say 4,300, 4,200, actually 2,700 if you go to New Orleans. But if under the UMA it's lower, if you go say, wait a second, but according to the UMA, it's only $2,000. I'm just using I haven't done the calculations with the current UMA. They're going to tell you, nope, it's still $2,700 or it's still $4,670. And it's kind of weird because there's a disconnect. Immigration says $2,000. I'm just giving a roundabout number. It was about $1,700 about a year ago. It went up a little bit. But yet you're telling me $1,700 over here, but you're telling me $4,000 over here. The problem is that the president cannot, it's not that he cannot, but according to diplomatic rules, the consulates do what's in the best interest of the government, but they have the discretion to decide what the financial solvency requirements are. They don't even need to use this formula. They decide the formula. They decide the amount. So AMLO couldn't tell SRE, you need to use the UMA, because SRE would just say, well, you know what, then we're not going to use the formula anymore. My hope has always been that SRE, exterior relations, which is our equivalent, the consulates, which run the consulates, would eventually go to the UMA. For whatever reason, I don't know. I don't have any insights, even with my contacts. I don't know why SRE has still maintained using the minimum wage and using the formula. Now, all of these numbers, they vary, and you're going to say, well, if there's a formula and there's a minimum wage, how come they're not all the same? Because each consulate has the discretion. What you see is like if you see a difference between 4,300 and 4,400, it's because one consulate's going to say, well, we're going to count it at 17 to 1 pesos. Another consulate will say, we're going to count it at 18 to 1 exchange rate. So you're going to have a difference. And that's why, you're seeing these differences in numbers. And you have consulates like New Orleans that say, you know what, this isn't fair. Let's make it lower than the formula. or let's use the UMA. I haven't looked at the 2,700 as based on the UMA. It may be. Or there's at one time, McAllen was doing numbers that didn't make sense, but someone figured it out that it was 200 times the daily minimum wage that they were using. So each consulate has that. But this is my theory. Immigration, the immigration and the consulate are two different departments. Immigration started the regularization program a long time ago. The initial goal of immigration's program was there was a lot of people running to the border every 180 days because they couldn't meet the financial solvency requirements. There was a lot of people living here in Mexico irregular or illegally, whichever way you want to call it. And the immigration says, hey, you don't need to live here illegally. You've been here 15 years. You've been here 7 years. You've been here 2 years. You've been here 5 years. You've visited Mexico. You want to come here to Mexico. We'll let you in. We'll give you a 4-year temporary residency, which you can convert to permanent. That way, we're not going to be deporting you and kicking you out. Mexico is not trying to be mean with these higher standards, but this program, a lot of people, we just have a new subscriber, Carrie Flower, thank you for subscribing. And what happened is that SRE has maintained these financial solvency requirements so high, but at the same time, I think immigration, when they lowered them, they kept the regularization program going. It started around the time of COVID. Everybody says that this program was for COVID. It wasn't for COVID. The program that they were regularizing people for COVID was under humanitarian reason. The current regularization program, as we know it now, has nothing to do with COVID or the pandemic. This started after the pandemic. And actually it was around the time of the end of the pandemic, but this was in an effort because immigration modernized a lot of their systems. So they started saying, well, all of you guys that are running to the border every 180 days, we're going to start cracking down on that. But if you've been living here, we're going to give you a chance to actually make yourself legal. So you don't have to run to the border. Actually, we're going to help you. That's what Mexico's attitude was, and it still is. Now, this program was supposed to go in 2022. It was supposed to go in 2023. And it was also supposed to go away in 2024. I have contacts within immigration that told me that it was going to go away, but it didn't. But one of the reasons, this is just my theory, knowing the way the government works here and knowing this is not just the Mexican government, it's government in general. Agencies tend to fight against each other within the governments. It doesn't matter which government you are living. But, and I worked for the federal government in the United States, so I can tell you that we fought even within law enforcement agencies. So I think, to be honest with you, that immigration is trying to say, you know what, we're going to keep the regularization program going strong until SRE does something about lowering the financial requirements, because maybe they're thinking it's not fair. I don't know, but the regularization program is going. And right now, I know a lot of YouTubers will tell you, there's a lot of alternative ways. You don't have to meet financial solvency, blah, 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 blah. Here's the truth. I'm going to give you the hard truth. There's only 3 ways to really get residency. Number 1, by financial solvency. Number 2, if you don't meet the requirements, regularization. Okay. And regularization, you have to meet certain requirements. Like you have, for example, if 2024 is the first year you've been here and you haven't been here prior to 2023, you don't qualify. So not everybody qualifies for the regularization program. If you qualify, take advantage of it, please, now, as quickly as you can. And you have to have an expired visa. That's another thing. The catch is you have to get a limited amount of days, or if you're already here on 180-day visas, you have to let it expire. Or an FMM. I call it a visa. A lot of people will correct me. It's not a visa, it's an FMM. It's a tourist permit. But that's the second way. The third way is being married to a Mexican citizen. Or the fourth way, which really you need the first or second way, is if you, for example, get residency and you want to bring your wife in or you want to bring your kid in under the age of 18, you can do that. A lot of YouTubers kind of throw this around and kind of try to make it sound like, oh, no, 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 that's the way to qualify. Those are the only three ways, and actually the fourth way, but the fourth way. Now, I do know one YouTuber did suggest political asylum, humanitarian. Those are cases that are very, very rare. I know there is one YouTuber that got political asylum because he was a political activist. It's the only case that I know of a political asylum, of an American getting political asylum. The guy that did do that is a Siam guy that's on YouTube. He's crazy. As a matter of fact, he is subject to deportation because he's a political activist here, and you're not supposed to actually participate in political activities if you're not a citizen. And he's done it in his YouTube videos. So really, those are the only three ways right now to qualify. And you hopefully, and I really have faith, that these financial solvency requirements will eventually go down. I really do have faith in the Mexican government. We're going to have to see. I don't know what's going to happen as far as the immigration. The 180 days thing, they are giving 180 days at the airport. But like I said, I explained to everybody before, is it's not because Mexico's being nice, it's because they're trying to expedite people through the airport. But if they start seeing that you have 5 or 6 back-to-back entries, or 4 to 5 or 3, I don't even know what the number is, they'll tell you, you know what, no more. That's the bottom line. That's the way things are going right now. And I told you, and we may, here's the thing, have a lot of stuff coming up because of political pressure. I know that about a year ago or 2 years ago, immigration started giving people 3 days, 5 days, 7 days. Didn't make sense. As a matter of fact, I even know that some people have, when the 180 days came back, I know that everybody, oh yeah, it's because people were complaining and people were complaining about this and immigration change. No, it was because of a political situation that the United States was actually pressuring Mexico to control the Venezuelans from coming in on FMMs. And so the president said, okay, well, we're going to apply the rules to everybody. And also, you want deportations? Venezuelans back to Venezuela, we're going to start deporting Americans too. So that's why you started seeing those deportations that you saw. So there's a very, very, right now, Biden's trying to tell Mexico we're going to shut down the border. We have Trump that's coming in that says, I'm going to build a wall and I'm going to do stuff like putting tariffs. I know Trump tried to get rid of the free trade agreement, so that may affect trade, which actually, fortunately, believe it or not, like I said, I'm not into politics, but they're predicting that the peso value of the dollar may go up if these tariffs start being put on different countries and everything else, and including Mexico. So because Mexico won't be able to do the kind of trade that they can. So we have a lot of things that are going on that are in Mexico that, either the dollar may go up in value, it may go down. We have the immigration issues of, regardless of whether Biden or Trump or whoever gets elected, you have two individuals that, and I'm not saying, and actually, I don't know what the other Republican contender stance is on immigration, but you have two that are saying, one that's saying, I'm going to shut down the border now. And then you have another one that's saying that we're going to be more strict and we're going to make people stay in Mexico. And you may see repercussions because of that. What I mean by repercussions is less days. The 180 days might not be automatic anymore. The peso may go down, the peso may go up. There's just no telling. And I want to remind everybody, what you see in Facebook and everything else is, I see a lot of people. I've been living here for 15 years, and this is the way it's been. Well, nowadays, um, nowadays, right now, um, things aren't like they used to be. Like I said, things are changing daily. Cindy, you got a good point. And Biden said he would shut the border down if it got overwhelmed, and the Republicans said it wasn't good enough. And all of these things, Cindy, my point in all of this is that I understand this is all political rhetoric, okay? Right now, all of it is political rhetoric. But the problem with political rhetoric is that also affects diplomatic relationships with Mexico. So it doesn't matter whether, if, for example, let's say Biden does threaten, the fact that he's saying that he's threatening to shut down the border may change Mexico's attitude towards, even if he doesn't, it may change Mexico's attitude towards the United States when it comes to immigration. Same thing with Trump. It doesn't matter whether he builds a wall or he doesn't build a wall. It changes the diplomatic attitudes that Mexico has towards the United States. And those are where the changes come. Those are where SRE says, the heck with you, we're going to keep these financial. As a matter of fact, next year we're going to go up another 20%. Those are what's going to affect the value of the peso, immigration, all of these issues. Who knows? We're in a very volatile time right now. Mexico is in a very volatile situation right now in a lot of things, in the sense that their trade is going up tremendously. Mexico is becoming financially one of the, they're moving up in standing. Mexico will probably, within the next 5, 10, some people say 15 years, but I say within 10 years, maybe even 5, Mexico is going to be a tier 1 country. So they're going to be something to be reckoned with. So there's going to be a lot of changes. And I apologize. I should have muted the microphone. That's a little bit distracting there. But those are the things that we're going to come up against. And I think the dream of moving to Mexico isn't going to go away, shouldn't go away. I think the regularization program at least is good for another year. I hope so. And, many of you who may have started your 180 days in December last year, you have that entry. Now, here's the thing with the regularization program. It's not the same everywhere. I know that Mexico City, if I'm not mistaken, when they were doing regularization, San Miguel, if they saw that you had multiple entries, they weren't accepting. I don't know if they changed that. That was last year. This year, at the beginning of the year, if you came in 2023, but you left, they won't accept your application. I don't know if that's still going on, but that was one of the things that I saw at the beginning of the year. So there's a lot of things that are changing. I'm going to try to keep everybody as up to date as possible. And hopefully I don't have all the answers to all the questions, but I'll try to answer these questions as much as I can in my videos and keep it as accurate as possible, and keep it as realistic as possible. Like I said, we shouldn't always be looking for alternative. Oh, how can I get around the system? And, for example, the regularization program, or how can I, there's other ways. Like when I say other ways, alternative methods, we always concentrate on $4,400 a year, a month for financial solvency. Let's say $4,500. Well, that same consulate that has $4,500 says you can have $57,000 in savings for the last 12 months. Maybe you're somebody that's been putting into your 401k, and you know what? When you retire, your 401k becomes your savings, kind of, sort of, and you're eligible to withdraw from it. You need to be eligible to withdraw from it. And maybe that's what you can show for your $57,000. Maybe you get Social Security, or maybe you've been saving up. And this is something that I don't think a lot of YouTubers talk about. They talk about, oh, the financial solvency requirements have gone up to and even I'm guilty of it. I talk about $4,500 a month or $3,000, or the last video I did on requirements going up. We're going to see changes of $4,500 to $5,000, possibly if the 20% goes. But the problem is we concentrate so much on the monthly. But what if I have a nest egg? I have a nest egg of, or some people sell their house. Put it in the bank, wait for a year. It's the same as getting 180-day FMM and doing the regularization program. And so put the money in the bank for a year, rent, I guess, or whatever, survive for that year. And then you have 12 months of, I don't know, $300,000, $200,000 that you sold your house for. Or if you had a mortgage, as long as you have 57,000 or 77,000, or 57 is McAllen, 54,000 is New Orleans. They're in the or you have 75,000. Most of the consulates is 75,000 in savings. So start to strategize. If you're looking at coming, and also here's the thing: if you have that 75,000 in the bank right now, go and get your residency now. Even if you're going to retire in 5 years, okay, or 4 years, you might have to come back to Mexico. You'll get it for 1 year, and then you have to renew it for the other 3 years, and then you can convert to permanent. It will take a little work and maybe a couple of trips. But if you have that money in the bank now for the past 12 months, apply now. Those are the strategies that I think we need to start looking at, not just looking at, and then of course, please, and I urge you, and I still see this on Facebook, is the myth that all you have to do is show that you're retired, because there's this law that says that if you're retired and have a livable income, you can come to Mexico as under permanent residency. And I've already explained to everybody that yes, the law exists, and that's why when you apply for permanent residency, they want you to have a pension, or you have to be pensioned. That's one of the requirements. And you also have to show the income from a pension source, and you also have to, or you have to be of a retirement age. That is true. But the livable income that's in that law is the financial solvency requirements. So anybody that tells you that you can go to the consulate and convince them that you can live on a livable income is not telling you the truth. Unfortunately, they're not telling you the truth. So, and I think I've already debunked that myth. I think but I still see it coming on, that all you have to do is show that you're retired. That's not true. So I think we're going to have a lot of changes coming up. Does anybody have any questions? We're at the beginning of the year, so probably a lot of my answers are going to be, it depends. But if anybody has any questions, please feel free. I wanted to just jump on. We're at 43 minutes. I already went on about what's going on. I'm going to open up for questions for the next 15 minutes, but there's not a lot to really report other than what I just reported right now. But Kai, how's the water situation in Monterrey? I've heard there are water restrictions in Ciudad Mex. Actually, Monterrey, we have a thing called we have a couple. Well, they're building some more water sources, but we have the presa, which is the water source for Monterrey. It's dry. Right now, we're experiencing this here. Actually, my in-laws are experiencing this within the city limits. Like I've told you guys, I live, actually in one of my live streams, I live in a suburb kind of outside to the south of Monterrey. Actually, I live in the town of Santiago, one of the subdivisions of Santiago, which is Pueblo Mágico, which I went and did my live stream from. But we're not experiencing it as much as my in-laws, which are within the city limits of Monterrey, but they're cutting off the water. My in-laws, fortunately, have what they call a tinaco, which is a water tank on the roof, and the water tank fills up. So whenever the water gets cut off, they have water. They have enough water to last them till but they are cutting off water. We're not experiencing water cutoffs where they're cutting the water off. What we're experiencing is a reduction in pressure. So that you're not wasting as much water. Now, Santiago has a different sources of water more than what Monterrey. Santiago has some alternative sources, but it's still not enough. We have a cistern, which is a big water tank underneath our garage. It's probably a water tank that can probably last us about a week to 2 weeks. And that cistern fills up. And hey Lisa, great to see you. Lobo, great to see you. Thanks for dropping in. And so we have our cistern, and then we have a pump that pumps into the pressure into our house. So we don't see too much of the lowered pressures, because when they lower the pressure, our pump pumps water from the garage underneath the tank underneath the garage. But we do have a water shortage. And I've even told the builder here that they need to start building eventually. I hate to say this, but Monterrey may be coming to a point. There are places in Mexico where you have to actually buy your water. They come and they fill up you have water tanks, and they fill up your water tanks, and it may come to that here. So we're prepared either way. So yeah, the water situation is not good. Not good in Monterrey. And San Miguel, it rained a little bit this year, and so we're in a better situation over there. But Monterrey is not good at all. And actually, they're reducing pressure. You know, most people put these tanks on their roof. Actually, in our neighborhood, we're the only ones that have it underneath our garage. And the cistern, they have the tinaco, which is the one on the roof. And the city got really smart. If we reduce the pressure won't rise to fill the tanks. But since ours is at ground level, our tank is always full, even if it takes a day or two to fill it up. If they reduce the pressure, RA, we have to renew temporary residency this year. Heard and updates on INM officers requiring extra things like financial statements, again, etc. Hoping not to get RA. My understanding is that immigration is saying show financial requirements. There's two things that there's one thing that I have been made aware of, that yes, they are asking for extra things, but my understanding is that nobody's been denied for, your financials weren't good enough. Hey, Wahoo fan. Nobody, in other words, I guess they're just wanting to know that you're still making money or you still have a means to live here. I haven't heard of them having an actual requirement of minimum amounts. All they're saying is, give me your financial statements. And the other thing that will be, if those changes are made, I will tell you one thing, if those changes are made, the financial requirements are a lot lower with immigration than they are they're not these $4,500 numbers that you're looking at. But I don't think that it's going to change. I think what immigration is doing is they're starting, the thing that everybody needs to understand with immigration, they're not trying to get stricter. Immigration was very antiquated, very antiquated. They didn't even have their computer systems. Yes, I know. They had computers, but they were old. They weren't connected to a network. They were using paper systems. They went into this I'm not kidding you, they went to the warehouses where all the FMMs were, and they actually keyed them into these new computer systems. They've been modernizing everything. So they've been they haven't standardized between offices, but they're trying to modernize and standardize. So you're going to see a lot of these changes, but not necessarily a bad thing. They're more of an organizational thing. Maybe you have to show your bank statements just so they can have them on file. Yeah, that you're still making money, you're not broke or you're not bankrupt or whatever the heck it was. But I know for a fact that nobody has been denied Yes, they've been requiring extra documentation. Last year, they already started that. Some INM offices started that, but nobody got denied their residency renewal because they didn't meet the financial solvency requirements. As far as I have been told, and that I know of, is that once you're in, regardless of what they ask you for. You might just have to jump through some more hoops. Thank you, Kai. Yeah, we had the cistern idea because we came from San Miguel, and that's the way they do it in San Miguel, because San Miguel's kind of more of a desert place, and so they have experienced water shortages. So everybody in San Miguel has cisterns, and that's why we did it. Best place to see whales in Mexico. I'll be in Puerto Vallarta at the end of February, beginning of March. Actually, Kai, probably Puerto Vallarta, you'll probably see whales. We went to Zipolite, which is in Oaxaca, which is on anything on the Pacific side. You're going to have a lot more chance of seeing whales. And I'm not too familiar with Puerto Vallarta as far as their wildlife and that kind of stuff, but you might see some whales there. But the Pacific side, anywhere on the Pacific side, Puerto Escondido, Zipolite, which is in Oaxaca, Puerto Escondido, same thing in on the Atlantic side, and the Cabo La Paz area. You've got a little bit of that little area on the tip. You're looking at the Atlantic and everything else. You might see whales on, but most of the whale stuff that we've seen has been on the Atlantic, on the Pacific side. So, any more questions? Any personal questions? So, like I said, I'm going to keep up to date on all of this stuff. At Cabo San Lucas, yes, we saw some whales and other areas, and some areas in Baja. We went actually when we went to Cabo, we got to see the whales jumping out of the water and all of that stuff. But mostly on the Pacific side. You're going to see most of the whales on the Pacific side of Mexico. So any of those towns, Nayarit, some of the places on the West Coast. How are you doing? Are you feeling okay? Yeah, I'm feeling fine. After the little COVID thing, let me put it this way. The COVID hit us, and it was nothing more than like a flu. But the problem is that, yeah, you get over it in 2 or 3 days. But the problem is that we experienced this, like the cough, the congestion, the feeling like I'm out of it. That lasted for a couple of weeks. And actually, you can see I'm still coughing a little bit. Now, I'm in Monterrey. There's a lot of contamination. I do cough when I'm not sick. And I do have to take allergy medication. So that's beside the point. But but we're fine. All of my medical tests so far, I still have to do my PET scan. But so far, I'm fine, and all my PET scans have come out. I'm looking forward to this next one because it's my last one where they determine that you're out of the woods. I haven't been. We've been doing well. Thank you very much for asking, Lisa. Take care of yourself each day, as well as your family. Keep up the great. Thanks, Lobo. Thanks for the whales, Ernie, and I'm excited to see Mexico's West Coast for the first time this year. Puerto Vallarta seems to be very expensive, however, for accommodation. Yeah, well, Puerto Vallarta is kind of actually, Kai. Well, I'm gonna go with the first one. Puerto Vallarta is a little bit more expensive for accommodations because it's more of a popular area, the touristy area. And so, and then you have a lot of Americans living there, Canadians living there, big expat community in Puerto Vallarta. But you said, is Cabo San Lucas cheaper? Actually, we found Cabo San Lucas a lot more. As a matter of fact, Cabo San Lucas, when we got there, I made a comment that I felt like it was an extension of California, to be honest with you. Prices are very expensive there. It's very beautiful. But I kind of say it's kind of the rich man's playground for vacationing here in. It's not the most expensive place in Mexico, but places like Monterrey, Ciudad Mex, well, depending on Mexico City, Merida is becoming very expensive. But as far as touristy, Cabo San Lucas is very expensive. We found the prices to be very a lot more expensive than Cabo, probably on par. Yes, Blaine Doris, Cabo, expect California, USA prices and feel. That's what I felt like, to be honest with you. Huh. San Pancho. I've never heard of San Pancho, to be honest with you. I don't know if it's near Puerto Vallarta. I haven't heard of it. If anybody, shout out, let Kai know here. All right, we're coming up on almost an hour here. I'm going to cut it off at an hour because I like to keep it short so that those of you that weren't able to join can watch the live and not have to go through, sift through 3 hours of a live stream. And hopefully I got some good information out to you. I've got some videos coming up that I'm working on, but let me tell you something. Like I told everybody, this is something that I do for free, and I do have a life. I don't make money off of this. This is not my living, and this is not a full-time job for me. Not that I don't enjoy it, but I'm just saying that I have a lot of things that I have to do, like my medical things, fixing up my house. So if you don't, consistency on consistency on releasing my videos and stuff. Consistency is not something that you're going to totally see. What you will see, if something is urgent, we need to get it out, especially my safety stuff, or regularization went away like yesterday and I need to get it out, I will get those videos out. And also, you might see 2 videos a week, 1 video a week, and you might see me offline for 2 weeks if I have to do something. Or, for example, I have next week I have 2 doctor's appointments. I have to run to McAllen, Texas. So I only have two days out of the week to work next week. So like I said, it's a balance. And my priority, like I said, I'm retired. My priority is my retired life. My priority is my family. And then my priority is you guys. I take it seriously. I take all my priorities seriously. I take you guys seriously. I take my priority to you to get you the information as quickly as possible and as accurate as possible. That is my goal. And I hope that thank you, Bill. Oh, it's great to see you come by, Bill. And Sister Goldenhair. Yes. Oh, you're late, but welcome back. And I really do enjoy. We're going strong with our Facebook group, and I think we've got one of the best Facebook groups for people moving to Mexico, expats or immigrants, whatever you want to call yourself. We have the best Facebook group ever because there's no drama. Everybody tries to help each other out. I have a good moderator that's helping me out so that we can weed out the insults and no, we just want to give accurate information. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for the 10,000 subscribers. I never in my life thought, like I said, I'm not in this for the likes. I'm not in this for the subscribers. I'm not in this for the money. I'm not in this for the YouTube button. I'm not in this I'm in this to help the community, to do my service. I've been in public service all my life. My family's been in public service. All my uncles, including my dad, was a college professor. All my uncles and aunts were in public service. So, that is my goal, is a public service to you guys. And thank you so much for your support. And like I said, I can't express enough how much I appreciate you guys and how much we have built a quality community, not a quantity community. And that's what my goal was to create a quality community. We're not into quantity. We're into quality and integrity. That is our first point, and that is our first major goal. And thank you guys for showing up. Thank you for supporting the channel. And I'm going to get back to my weekly live streams, maybe with a subject or maybe open. Let me know what you prefer. If you want to touch on certain subjects, we can do a live stream on that subject. If you want to just stick to general questions about Mexico, we'll stick to general questions about Mexico. So let me know what you think. Leave comments in the comment section below. But we will keep doing the weekly live stream. Thank you very much. I'm back. And you guys, as I always say, stay safe and stay informed. And thanks for showing up for our live stream. And we'll see you soon. I promise.